Episode 19 with Miguel Quesada of Virus. You're listening to Kendrick Loves to Brand, the branding podcast featuring stories and lessons from entrepreneurs and brand builders so you can get inspiration, insights, strategies, and tactics as you create your own game-changing brand. Well, it's the new year. Welcome to the show. One of my best friends in the world, Miguel Quesada of Virus Partners International.
Digital Partners, Asia Pacific International. I can tell you a bit about that Virus thing, though. But Digital Partners Asia Pacific is our corporation name. Right. But Virus is our brand name.
Well, I mean, obviously you don't need to introduce yourself to me, but for the benefit of our listeners, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What's your background? What do you do?
So I'm Miguel Quesada. Just graduated with Ken. IMC, Masters in IMC. But before that, I also did IT, which landed me in this unique position of having IT and communication. So for 11 years now, I've been running Virus, which we're now around 60 people. We're a full-service advertising agency that specializes on digital marketing. 11 years ago, this was set up, and here we are today.
So prior to that, you mentioned that we obviously were batchmates. We were group mates a lot of the time back in school. So after school, I went off to Sachi. You were in Low.
Still in Low?
Yeah.
So how did I from Low to here? No? So from Low, from my internship there, I was hired in the strat department. But being the youngest, even if I was the youngest person there, I was the most tech savvy. Such a tito thing to say, but yes, the titas and the titos who were my bosses before dubbed me as the digital strategist, just I guess by default. Little did they know that thing was quite significant, because digital strategy became the bit what I'm doing today. And they asked me to set up the digital arm back then, or just to get it rolling. And by doing this, they asked me to talk to many people and to invite even speakers in the industry. Back then, even Donald Lim already I was able to contact him, and others. And from there, I met this company called New Media, which was a Thai American-based company who had offices in the whole of Southeast Asia, and they just needed someone from creatives to handle them. And in a way, I was pirated to that company. So I was pirated, and it was just very fortunate for me also. When I went to Thailand in the headquarters, and I was assessed, and when I got back here, I was made creative director at 26.
What year was this? This was
2007.
Yeah, okay.
And then I remember it really clearly. In 2008 in October, it was a Wednesday. Suddenly, we had our operations everywhere. We had two offices, one in Tower 1, one in what's across Tower 1? Enterprise Building. Yeah. And we had the spanking office there. And then suddenly, October, on a Wednesday, we all got this email saying that the office will be closing down by the end of the day. And someone will be flying over from different parts of the world just to give the compensation letters. It was connected to the Lehman Brothers, or I don't know which one, those big guys that fell apart, and it was a domino effect. As I was watching it in CNN of Lehman Brothers closing down, I got this email and I was like, whoa. So we were in the thick of things. And then that same day, true enough, there was really some white people who flew over and gave us these letters, gave us these compensations, and me, I was like, okay, I'm out of here, thank you. But I learned a lot from them. So I really respected them. So after that, I asked permission all the way in Bangkok if I can at least use my work as some sort of my credentials, as a personal credentials, with of course mentioning the company. And they allowed me as long as, I don't forget them, because they had one more running company, which was a media company back then. And of course, it was a good deal. So I said yes to it, and just maybe a few months, 2 months after that happened, I set up Virus, what it is today.
So what was going through your mind when during that time, like, you said you just got that email that the offices was gonna be shut down. Like, what was going through your mind at that time? Were you like in a state of panic, or were you more like, it's okay, there's something else I can do?
That time, since I was leading a team, my concern really was more of them. I heard people really crying. So before I could react myself, I had to sort of comfort the early criers, the initial criers. But when it sort of, I never really felt uneasy. If it's anything, my brain was starting to run already in terms of what's the next move. It was just that. And then I remember we all went down to the fountain of Ayala Triangle. There was zero of this whole thing. The only thing standing there was the Tower 1 and the Makati Stock Exchange. Everyone was crying by the fountain. And I remember I was already just making calls because I was receiving calls from some clients who heard of it. So I had to pacify that too. So I couldn't, at that point, it was really, I was on a work mode rather than some sort of a save yourself mode, mentality.
So you were sort of still focused on putting out the fires, basically.
Yeah, and I felt that they depended on the managers to do that. So I had to sort of just, maintain the ranks.
So you started Virus just around November,
December
2008.
Yep.
I remember. Okay, this is a funny story. Like, I remember back then because we were both. I guess at this time, we weren't going out as much because we were both busy setting up this up.
Yeah.
So, and then we just happened to chat one time. I think around late 2008 when we were maybe planning a Christmas get together with the batch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned that you started a company. I said, "Oh wait, I also started a company."
Yeah. I remember.
And then we said, "What's the name of your company?" And this is the funniest thing because the name of your company is Virus.
Yep.
And I told you, "Oh no way!" I go, "The name of my company is Antidote."
Just like old times when we think the same.
Yeah. So it's like it's one of the funniest stories when we look back. It's like even people in our batch would laugh and say, "Did you guys plan this? Like, for sure you guys talked about this." But this is absolutely just coincidence, just how our minds think.
Yep.
So like, can you take us through, like, why did you call your company Virus?
So that time, in a way, I was groomed creatively to be quite rebellious in thinking. And in a way, I liked clients who were in the same page. So back then, I felt it would weed out the boring clients by naming a digital company Virus. And back then, I mean, every computer PC needed an antivirus. Now your computer has virus, you must be really going to the most obnoxious sites. Before, I mean, you go to Yahoo, you may get even a virus.
Yeah.
So it was a way of weeding out boring clients. I just needed to, because if you're gonna get to digital marketing, you're already a cut above the rest in terms of forward thinking. So I just needed to weed it out further, a cut above the rest, and who's also a bit experimental.
Yeah.
And it needed to be something really rebellious. So funny is when I have a meeting with someone and someone says, "Virus? Pangalan nyo? Naku, baka may virus yung papadala nyo ah." I know, naku, hindi ko na kliyente to.
Yeah, so you just say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck on your business.
When we were in college, when we were still in school before, was this already something that you had in mind that eventually you're going to start and run your own company? Because I remember back then our conversations were mostly like, what companies are we gonna work with, or like what brands we'd want to work with. But I think we never really talked about actually like starting our own. I mean, we joked about starting something, but like together, but as a joke with like Sanjay.
That's true.
Pero like what
we never had entrepreneurial talks, no?
Like kasi parang in IMC naman before, parang in marketing, parang that's not really part of the kumbaga parang career path. So at what point did you realize, or did you make that decision that you wanted to start something on your own?
Good question. You know, because it's a good question because strangely no one really has asked me this. But looking back, the only time that I ever did jump into the mentality of being an entrepreneur was already right after that incident where that company called New Media closed down. Because just looking back, I had zero idea what business was, to a point that I remember the first thing that I sort of did to operationalize this plan for me to put up my own company was I invited a few high school friends of mine who were entrepreneurs and asked them, what's the deal? How is it? So it was from zero, really. I never really had the entrepreneurial thing in my as a plan.
So it's almost through necessity, you know, because of what happened.
Yeah, I was pushed really to an edge where where I was given an opportunity to jump into it and to being an entrepreneur. But before this, I don't think I ever had any idea or any plans.
So coming from that, you've been running Virus now for 11 years, going 12 years later this year. What do you think has been the secret to your success so far?
You know, the secret is well, internally, what we call it little wins. It's just we do one little win after another, you know, because to begin with, it's kind of hard to believe that there's I mean, when you say you have a big win or something, and then after that, hindi pa pala tapos yung story, it's gonna plot twist into a change and everything. So I'd rather focus on the little wins every time, because there are little wins to do every day. And then when everything becomes so overwhelming, you need to do a million things. You start with just a few little wins, and then the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Let others call it success, but it's just me. It's just getting by the day with all the little wins.
How about, what do you think distinguishes like you from other, let's say, your other competitors in this space, in the digital advertising space?
Right now, particularly right now, I'm considered already the old school in the digital advertising world. There's so many upcoming talented, call them millennials or Gen Zs or something, but ultra talented, ultra fast thinker, ultra multi talented kids are sprouting like mushroom already. And then the big advertising agencies have in a way adapted to our business model as well. But instead of, I mean, I was thinking at some point that I'm being sandwiched in between. But I think my being sandwiched in between is exactly what makes me unique in this thing, because I'm really from the cusp. I was really from the hybrid from the traditional to the digital in 2008. We are the old school here. And another thing also is the IT and the comm background that I have, which actually I'm not so 100% sure now. This is unique, because maybe these millennials are also hybrid. I don't know. I haven't checked. Last time I checked, that's my forte. I hope it still remains.
Okay. So take us back to that time. So when you first started, I think a lot of people would be curious about, like, when people start with a service business like what you did and how Antidote started before. One of the things that people are curious about is, like, how did you get your first client?
Okay, my first client, actually quite lucky naman. If it's anything, my first big client actually was PAL. Okay, PAL. I had a few smaller clients, but these were just in a way, just friends who I knew, who I did a small thing left and right. But PAL was my first commercial client. Luckily, again, I have to hand it to new media. I was already talking to PAL, or I got introduced to PAL through Yahoo back then, because Yahoo was trying to took years for it was taking years for Yahoo to explain to PAL what digital marketing was. And when everything closed down already, and then virus was up, and again Yahoo approached me and said, would you like to help us convince PAL? And then I was like, okay, what do you need? They said, I don't know, can you look at our deck? Okay, I looked at their deck. It was a good deck, but the thing about it here is they were selling what we call empty boxes. They would say, oh, look, you're gonna come out here, and then X amount of people are gonna see you, or then you're gonna come out in this space. But the thing about it, they were just selling empty white spaces, with these technical terms of the number of pixels going up and going side. And then it just said, you know what? Let's just totally use your presentation, but this time we'll just put creatives in it and make it move already. Make it move, Kilig na mga tao doon. True enough, in that meeting alone was the signature already for a
instant approval.
Instant. It was an instant approval. I remember me and Yahoo rejoicing in the parking lot of PAL.
Nice. So this goes back a little bit to how we used to work in school before, though.
Yeah.
Like our professors would ask us to make, like, and the expectation is just a simple na deck, may presentation, diba?
Wow, them na. While you got
And
their
there will
attention,
be like,
diba?
Si Miguel would always say, Ken, basta isip ka na ng pinaka-wild na gusto mong mangyari sa PowerPoint. I'm like, anong klase, like mga animation? Bro, just isipin mo na yung pinaka-wild na gusto mong mangyari.
Yeah.
So, come on, sige nga.
Can you make this guy walk in the presentation? Sige ba?
Sige. Kasi sa PowerPoint. Then biglang the next day we'll present it and then the next start. So,
yeah.
I'm glad to see that.
Might as well, yeah. So that I learned, guy. I remember just to sort of, people love surprises.
Yeah.
And when they think they're gonna attend the most boring meeting, boom, surprise them with something spectacular. When they think that we're just here to sort of, because me, right? I don't like meetings. Let's have a meeting. What? to meet about when we're gonna meet.
Next.
Oh my God. Parang yat.
Si Miguel is actually very notorious. Before we had a batchmate who will not name, who used to hate being group mates with Miguel kasi she knows that you'll never show up for a meeting.
Yeah. Kasi naman yung mga meetings, to discuss when a meeting.
So we will just say, just tell me what you guys talked about, anong kailangan, and I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, so
efficient,
so coming from that PAL meeting, you got the approval on the spot. So virus is taking off literally. Over the years, like from that point on, like you also mentioned like having little wins, but like, what's the toughest adversity you've had to deal with?
Toughest adversity.
Apart from like new media closing suddenly and like so after virus like
within virus.
So within virus, like after things started taking off for you guys.
Hard to say really the toughest, but I'll tell you one tough one. There was a history in virus actually where some key people, a key person left, and tried to take some people with him a few years ago. I was caught in between, trying to be as graceful, but at the same time trying to really be as a stern, president to defend his home.
Yeah.
And there it was kind of really difficult to put your place in both spaces. Because there were some, but they were not our originals naman, who really did follow suit to him. Well, to make a long story short, that company totally didn't work out, which I had the last laugh. But before having the last laugh was a lot of difficulties that I needed to face, externally and internally. I needed to really stay graceful and at the same time be the man of the house. And it's really a test of character, a true test of character. You cannot, because when you falter, having fall into disgrace, it may solve a bit some things now, but it's not in the long term. It's not gonna be and it's so funny. At some point after all of that, without me doing anything, there was this campaign in virus that it's called. It's so funny. It's kind of ridiculous. It's more fun in virus. Wow, really? How original! But they were the ones who made it up as their psiko into telling the rest who left. Bahala kayo dyan.
Yeah.
So there. That was quite and that the one who left actually was quite at some point became was a mentor of mine too. So there. Yeah.
In times like that, I think like how you handled it. Like usually when you leave things up to karma, naman, it usually works out. Not that you were wishing bad naman on anyone, but I think usually if you let things play out, it works out naman.
Karma delivered well. But karma also told me, Miguel, you have to be graceful, because
otherwise I'll come back for you.
Kaya magbabalik-balikan to.
Okay, how about self-doubt? Do you ever experience it?
Yeah, I mean, very much. Yeah, I always do, but I just pretend I don't.
I'm sure that's surprising for our friends who know you.
Sometimes really like so many issues left and right, killing fires left and right, and then everyone's like looking at me, Sir Migs, what do we do? Sir ko dyan, bata lang ako, what would I know? Malay ko ba? And it's just I always do doubt myself.
So how do you deal with it? How do you manage it when it comes up?
You know how I deal with it? I keep pretending that I don't until I don't really doubt myself now. I think if you pretend enough,
So it's like a fake it till you make it type
Yep.
of thing.
exactly. But the fake it till you make it, the audience is myself actually, not exactly others. Me, as in myself in the mirror, is my audience that I'm faking to. Until me and myself are just, pare, we did it. Yeah. So it just, so there. So faking it to myself, faking it to the mirror, is how we do it. And yeah, it's but I think it's always healthy to have some doubt,
Yeah.
because it's in this doubt that when you need to fake it or you need to deal with it one way or another, the conversations that you're having with yourself become very insightful.
Aside from like sort of dealing with it on your own, do you have a mentor that you look up to or that you regularly consult with?
Yes, I do. And it's quite a good friend of mine. He's my former ECD, Raul Castro. Up to now, we stay very much in touch. We catch up anytime we're free. Even in an not exactly entrepreneurship, but more of running a company, because he's the group CEO now of Macan.
Mm-hmm.
And we really do still catch up. If there's one, in a way, frustration that I have in my career is, I wish I had a mentor next to me longer.
Yeah.
I wish I was cradled a little longer. Because now my mentor, he has his own business. He has his own biz. I call him maybe but we catch up but it's still different when you and your mentor are dealing with the same issues together
For a longer period of time.
for a longer period of time. I wish I was really babied longer.
Well, actually, I'm laughing, but it's something I can also relate with, because
Right?
I only
I
worked
wish-
for like less than 2 years in Sachi. There were a lot of people there who, like my bosses there were really they serve as good mentors when I was there. Pero like when I left, syempre parang like nag-iba na yung path mo, so it's not like it's harder to relate now to like, but I'm trying to start a branding company. They're like,
I know, right?
diba? Yeah, so
It's different na.
and sometimes you do feel like especially in like moments of doubt na, or when you have some certain challenges that you're unfamiliar with and you don't know who do I call about this when the situation is sort of like unlike what they've experienced also, because it's ibang industry or something.
Yes.
So given the chance, let's say, to have a one-on-one mentoring session with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
As cliche as it may sound, because I was a fan of Steve Jobs before, it would still be Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a lot of issues, personal issues. He had a lot of things to deal with. But I still look up to the guy. Before, because I looked up to him even before he was as much as talked about.
Yeah.
And I want to look up to him because of not only on how he dealt with the company, but on how he dealt with his own personal issues while building the company. Because entrepreneurship is a personal thing. It's not business. It's personal.
Yeah, actually, it is. It's really. It's not just about knowing the sort of parang objective things about like how businesses are run. Diba? A lot of times, entrepreneurship, it's really understanding yourself, also how you think.
Yep.
Diba? And sort of while you're building the company, you're also sort of building yourself. Diba?
Yeah, exactly. While you all your paradigms are sort of just are applied to from business to personal, vice versa. And it's funny how when golfers talk, it's almost like golf. Actually, I don't play golf, but I like the analogy also, like how golf, it's such a mental game that your game will be affected if you're having like a bad day. It's not like a matter of practice, no matter how talented you are. If Tiger Woods had a really messed up marriage breakup, it's gonna affect his game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how Tiger Woods' arm he has, it will affect his game. And it did affect his game. Yeah. It's proportional how the personal life that Tiger Woods was facing and what he's doing now. And what was happening during that moment, it's just really messed up too. Now, I guess he's out of his troubles. That's why he's kind of
playing well again. Yeah. Speaking of playing well, so in Virus, like what would you consider? I mean, in 12 years, you've had like a lot of client work done already. But do you have like a favorite work or something that you consider to be the best work of Virus so far?
It would be definitely the Bruno's Father's Day video that we made. This just happened 2 years ago. So we made a video for Bruno's on Father's Day about a father and son having a haircut through the years. I find it my greatest achievement here in Virus or the greatest work actually in Virus, because number one, it comes from a very personal space. And the owner of Bruno's I grew up with him, and I know his mom who built it also. Virus, like revenue wise and stuff, and like building a company wise, we did it. We're successful. But being able to have a project that is really personal was really something that I was so proud of. While the others, brought in the money, this one particularly really nailed it in the coffin. When the video was released, the friend of my mom personally called me and really personally thanked me, and she said that her whole family was crying when watching the video. It was so touching, so much so that me and the rest of the team were even invited to a 5-star hotel to have dinner, just to profusely thank us for the great work we did. And that time, I remember I was like, "This is it. I've made it. There's nothing more that I can say from here." That was my greatest one.
In terms of like the size of the projects that you guys take on now, like what will be the average like project size, and like given the size of your team,
so in more recent years also, from projects we really became more retainer, which is really very turned a really wow, we really took a really good turn there. So the average size perhaps for a 6-month retainer is maybe between 1 to 2 M. So that's the retainer that we have. But the retainer, but 1 to 2 M of course includes the whole shebang, even all the way up the cost of media. But that's the billing. So rather than a per project basis, it kind of has a, it became a retainer between 1 to 2 M per 6 months.
And the typical size of the company that you guys work with, like you don't work with startups, or do you?
We do.
So anywhere from startups to like the big corporations.
Yep. From a startup to all the way to a multinational, we service them all. But we're quite upfront also in telling also startup companies what's their thrust, and if they're willing to really go deep into the rabbit's hole with digital marketing. But also, I've come to a point right now, if some startup company of really close friends of mine, I just really consult them na lang. I give them consultation as a friend. And divert them, just refer them otherwise to other just specialized work that doesn't really need our whole operations.
How about dream clients? Do you have like a dream client that you really, really want to work with, whether here or abroad?
To be honest, I really want to work with Elon Musk somehow, one way or another. It's just because he's in between technology and saving the world. The two things that I like. And the two things that people never thought kind of mix. No, hindi naman never thought, but it's not the most paired up thing in the world. So yeah, any project of Elon Musk, it doesn't even have to be Tesla. I mean, if it's just anything that's got to do with technology and saving the world, saving the planet, or humanity.
So, given the chance, would you go to Mars?
Definitely, for sure. I will be the first there. I never really liked this planet fully anyway.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit here before we get too deep into space travel. What's your typical day like?
I wake up early because of my kids. And I sleep quite early also. So I'm an early riser. We're talking 5:30 here. And I sleep maybe before 10.
Before 10? This is so different from the
I
Miguel
know,
that
it's
I know.
totally different because actually sometimes I'm just trying to sound cool here now, but I sometimes actually sleep like 9. Not even my before 10 I meant 8:45. Because I'm so tired trying to put the kids to sleep that I give in before they do. So my gym is my life, meaning carrying the kids and carrying errands is already enough steps and triceps movement for me. Actually quite a lot. So that's my workout.
Do you have a morning routine? So when you wake up, what do you usually do?
Yes. So my morning routine is always spend time with the kids outside early morning still. So sometimes we bike, sometimes we just walk around. So we just do stuff. And then in the morning I always take a green juice. So that's my first thing in my stomach is freshly squeezed pineapple juice with kale blended until it's just completely green, tasteless. You should do it, man. Zero. Like I eat a mountain of kale. No more if I drink a mountain of kale, zero taste, just with pineapple juice.
So just close your eyes, cover your nose.
Actually, it doesn't taste anything na nga. So, and then I'm totally quota in my fiber intake already in the morning. I'm telling you this, not such a detail, but this thing is really what makes my day, at least nutrition-wise. Like, I can't skip a day with it because it's packed with all the things I need already.
Why pineapples?
Pineapple, it's a juice. So because it's also the most affordable juice that I can have on an everyday basis. I started with orange. Like I have these things squeezed in the grocery of the 500 liter, the 1 liter.
So SNR.
And then but I was portioning it, and it's just based on optimization. I was able to find pineapple was the most affordable already. Yeah, and then with kale. So that was the most. Even I
So
think
no added sugar, no anything.
nothing at all. Zero.
So just blending kale.
Kale and pineapple is the best there. It even has protein already. It has your carb. It has everything. And and it's always good. That's your first thing that to hit your gut. Raw food to hit your gut, especially fibrous raw food, especially green. So the first thing to hit my gut to line it up with these fibers. The rest of the day won't matter anymore because I'm quota already.
So the rest of the day, what do you usually eat? Anything?
Anything, but it's just I've been really more plant-based recently, strangely.
Strangely.
Yeah. But I've turned to the green side.
What did you do to my friend?
I know, but it's just
who used to eat in Food Channel.
I know,
shawarma
man.
every day.
But I still like it. I mean, every time I see it, though, I mean, I eat it. I'm not extremist in anything. I'm flexitarian, and I can roll with anything. So. But nutrition, since it's a very key part of my day, it's a very key part of my life. It really my day is based on it. And I think also what I do every day, going back to what I do every day, is I always try to keep a schedule and a routine. I have to.
So what's your routine like?
So even up to what I take, I'm quite monotonous in that thing. That's the first thing I need to eat, and I eat it even before the kids are awake. So when I play with them, I'm already digesting my protein, and then I eat breakfast with them. I prepare for work, and then I drive to work. Now recently I've been driving to work. I come in. I'm here before maybe by 9, and there are some days I barely get out of my office. I don't have lunch breaks. I have lunch. I don't have lunch breaks. So sometimes I'm scheduling a meeting 12:30. They don't say no naman. And then I just get through my day and I try to leave here by 5:15. I'm in my house before 7. I'm quarter to 7. I have dinner with my family, my kids, and Adi, my wife. Do the most, be a clown, be a jester, be anything to entertain my kids and just, suck them from their energy to sleep. There, and throughout the day though, so in the office, I never take the elevator. Again, that's part of my life is my gym. Sometimes, actually, I go down. No, in the morning, I do it once in the morning, once in the afternoon. I go down, I just circle the block, walking, thinking, and come back here. In the afternoon, I do one round while listening to my French class. For a good 10 minutes max, and I circle the block literally in Poblacion. Sometimes I slalom around there, come back here, and back at work.
So that's how you stay productive. But how about in terms of like gear? I mean, you're a very techie guy ever since like back in college before. So like, what would you consider to be your best investment in terms of like equipment?
To be honest, recently the drive on staying the latest, this and that, it's not anymore my priority. If it's anything also, the dust has settled in terms of, if you have the latest phone before, it's already something. And before, part of the branding of Virus was we really had in our guidebook that we needed to technologically dominate any room. Imagine, as our branding guidebook. That's why we were required to have always the latest iPhones, always the latest Macs, always the most updated it's just a show of force lang that we are, we can, because that was our pitch in a way. But now I've kind of lost and everything in it, and every phone can do the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest, right now, it's I'm sort of not even trying to be too much on technology anymore. I tried as much as possible not to have too much screen time. So I do a lot of paperwork now. So if you see there's a roll of brown paper there, I write a lot of paper. So I always have a pencil and a paper. So we're meeting, and then I just give it out to them as we're meeting. So I, in a way, tried to go old school in many things. It's also, I'm trying to keep also an example now. Every time I meet someone, they're just fidgeting on their phone. I don't know if they got distracted na or something. And it's just, I really, when I have meetings now, no one's required to bring a phone. Or no one's even allowed sometimes to bring a phone. Just put it down. We're all good here. There's no volcano erupting. Anyway, no one needs to run. So, can I have your attention? So, in that, I've gone back to a bit old school already.
So it's very, very. It's a nice, I think, evolution from back then. Like any new gadget before, you're the first person I'll ask. Miguel,
Yeah,
bro, ano yung bagong ganyan? Okay ba yan? Anong difference sa ganito?
But I'm in a way, I'm still very much in the know, because all the heads of virus still have the latest thing, and our prod also. I still definitely have to be in the know, and luckily for me, I'm able to even use equipment that is not even mine, that's the company's, and stay very much updated. So if you ask me on that question also, the most sulit thing actually that we bought was the A7S 2 camera, which is a camera with the most flexible camera. I loved it. I love it up to now. Super, super sulit in many ways. And that's the camera that I've always seen, because that's the time we always attended weddings, right? I'm always thinking, what's this camera? I just need to reverse engineer the equipment they use in these wedding videos, and I'm good. And true enough, researched all of that, all of their equipment. Every time I want ending a video, I take a photo and then I send it to my production, and then they're like, okay, just recreate that whole thing. Okay, there.
Nice. Okay. We're heading towards the latter part of the show now. There are 3 questions I always ask all my guests. The first is, knowing everything that you know now, like in 2020, if you went back in time to the day that you decided to start Virus. So this is December 2008. Okay, what would you say to yourself? Let's say you had like 1 minute lang to talk to Miguel of 2008.
Good question. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna say, hey Miguel, here I am 12 years ago. You wanna know what's gonna happen? And then Miguel 12 years ago is gonna go. And I go, secret. And then I'll walk away. I want that 12 year ago Miguel to have the same mysterious journey as I did. But maybe I'm just gonna troll him, but not say a word of how it's gonna happen.
Okay. Actually makes sense, knowing.
I'll troll myself.
Okay. Second question. Okay, what else are you looking to accomplish over the next 10 years?
The world is really getting globalized more and more, and I really wish to accomplish, and this has been a part of the original plan anyway, to have a global, starting from a regional network. I'm going to Singapore next month actually to to initially have some talks again. I wish to take this really from a more international level. It's not only for me, but I think it would be really nice in a way to sort of really I want to give a multinational experience to my team as well. And if that's only, I mean, if that's maybe the only thing I haven't given any more to them. They've had the number of accounts that they've handled, wow, more than a regular agency. We've handled almost all the verticals already, so everyone's experience on different brands is already there. We've traveled different countries already as a company. We have a lot of training, this and that. But I guess even them, I see them also yearning for some multinational experience, and that's both what I want to do. I want to expand Virus for Virus's growth, and at the same time, in a way, for my team to have that international experience.
Nice. Okay, looking forward to that. Okay, before I ask the final question, where can people follow Virus or you yourself?
Sure. Wow. Yeah. Well, our website virusworldwide.com. It's fairly updated. I wish I updated more. My personal Instagram is Miguel Quesada, but all you'll see are baby photos there of my kids who are super cute. You may want to see. Thanks to my genes, and a little to my Belgian wife, Adeline.
I think it's more fun than 99%. No, just kidding.
And our hashtag actually in Virus is Virus Life. Apparently, it's us only who has that.
Okay.
Things are now better than it's more fun in Virus.
Okay.
It's now Virus Life, which again they've made. That's our hashtag.
All right. So we'll link that up in the show notes.
Yep.
So final question: how do you, Miguel Quesada, want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered actually as a great father and husband. Moving now also and going back to being an entrepreneur and personal life have really I really connected. Fine, I mean, me being remembered might extend to the entrepreneurship of it, but it's really being a good husband and a good father to my 2 kids and maybe more. But because being a good father and husband entails many things, and if I can be remembered as that, I guess I've covered the other things.
All right. On that note, thank you, bro.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken. Super duper duper appreciate it.
Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review the show on iTunes. It will help more people discover the show. You can also share a screen cap of the show on your social media accounts. Make sure to tag me and let me know which part of the episode you like or didn't like. All feedback is certainly welcome, so feel free to reach out to me on Instagram @KendrickCo to let me know what topics you'd like to be covered next and who you want to hear or learn from in future episodes. Until next time, do the work you want to see done, because life's too short to not be creating your life's work.